We're going to use ticks on this. This is the solder, and it's a little harder than soft solder, but it works quite well. And I'm going to flux it all the way around. And then the solder itself, that's a little much. So we're going to cut off some pieces here, little pieces, and lay them around the base. It doesn't have to be every single, a solid line all the way around, because this solder is going to flow quite well and probably flow in and fill it all in. So that's good enough right there. Okay, we'll give her a little heat. I'm going to use the big torch on this because it's a fairly sizable piece. Heat from the inside out. And it's glowing already. That didn't take much. Yep, flowed in just beautifully. Here you can see the way it flowed in. Good solid joint, that's just what we want. The only place it didn't catch was right here where the other guy had cut a big piece out of the barrel, which we can't do anything about. We could fix that, but it's not worth it. Okay, we've got this mounted up on the collet. This is a 4C collet, but it's a special one with a extension on it for just this kind of job instead of having a hole in it. I've got a full set of 4C collets in 64ths, which took me about 15 years to put all together. But this is ready, so let's go move the camera and go cut some teeth. I thought before we cut the teeth, we better show you what we cut them on. Excuse my hands for shaking, but I have the trimmers. This is a Hardage cataract horizontal mill that I use specifically for cutting wheels. This is there's the cutter, and the wheel will go in here. But before we do that, we have to center that cutter. And the way we do that is some people use a point, a sharp point. I like this way better, which is that's a 45 V in there, and we got to go up a bit. Go up so we're centered on the tooth. Okay, there we go. Now I hope you can see that, but when the tooth is centered on both sides of the V, it's touching on both sides of the V right here, then we know we're dead center. If you don't do that, you very well will end up, when you go around the whole wheel, you'll end up with half a tooth or tooth and a half, which is not good. That's, at that point you got to throw it all out and start it all over again. So that's how we center it. We're ready to cut. Everything's set up. I think I forgot to show you this, but this is an 80 tooth index wheel, and you just go one cut, cut. Okay, we're running about 1200 RPM. Well, Mr. Bozo. Forgot to tighten the nut holding the that would help. I think we'll make 2 passes on this rather than try to cut them all at once. Now I'm going to go back and show you what I'm doing over on this side. Move a notch. Move another notch. After we do around the first one, I'll remove the camera and set it so you can see it actually cutting the tooth. You don't need to see all this. This is boring, so I'll be back. Now we're around the first time, and I move the camera so you get a little bit better idea what's going on. So we're ready to go around the second time, which will be the final cut. I'm just adjusting the depth. Looks excellent. We probably could have done this in one pass, but I don't worry about the time it takes, because I love what I do. I'd rather take two passes and make sure it's perfect. And if you'll notice, we've got a very, very small flat right on the top of those teeth, which is what you want. Okay, we'll come back when we're all the way through so you can see the finished product. Here we are. You'll notice I cut the last, well, you didn't see it all, but I cut the last 5 or 6 teeth. Climb cut it, because with this big bump right here where the I was hitting right there, so I just cut it from the other side, which is not a good idea. It's very dangerous because the cutter tends to grab into the brass. So okay, we'll take her down and see what it looks like. There she is, almost finished. The teeth came out beautifully, which is to be expected with that machine, unless you goof up pretty bad. The only bad part here was this hump. Yeah, right there. We're going to pound that down right now, and then we'll go to the mill, put our holes in there, and then we got to shave about 15-16 mil off the back of this, or thou rather, excuse me. How we did that we got this down nice and flat now. I made this bar. God, I can't figure out where the camera is. I made this bar and I milled out a slot right there. Put this in the big vise. Put this on there like that so it clears the hook in there. And you can pound that down and make it nice and flat. When we polish this up, this will all disappear. Those aren't very deep. They're not more than a thou or two deep, so we'll fix those. But that's how that's done anyway. Okay, now the last project on this job is to put the 4 holes in here like this original. These aren't really necessary, but I have to do it to make it exactly like the original. So I have zeroed the DRO on the center here. I've gone out 15.5 and we'll put a hole here. Then we'll go 15.5 this direction and this direction and that direction. The DRO will write a bolt circle, but we don't really need that for this one because we've only got 4 holes. If we had 5 holes, it would be more difficult. We'd have to calculate a bolt circle, but this is pretty easy. And this thing here you're looking at is called a mini pallet. I made this quite a few years ago, and it goes in the vise, and its purpose is just to hold oddball things like this. There's no other way to hold this than through the center. If you put a hole down here in here, then you can't get the cutter in. So this should work just fine. Let's give it a try. Running about 1,000. Oh. The camera's in the way of the knob. Start over. Yeah. One. Now I gotta go up a little higher. Now we'll go back to the center and we'll go 15.5 this direction. That looks good. Two. Back to the center. And 15.5 this direction. last one. There we go. And here we are. There's the finished product. Ready to send off to the customer. See you next time. Thanks for watching.